Hello everyone, my name is Lev. For those of you who don't know, I'm the co-instructor at the Generative AI Masterclass, a course where we learn how to integrate generative AI into our workflow. Today, I'll be talking about how to create a generative multimodal app using Zapier. That's kind of a mouthful, so let me go through those terms one by one. I want to create a generative app, which means it'll use generative AI models in order to create new content. I want it to be multimodal, which means it'll create multiple types of media, in our case, text and accompanying images. And I will create it on Zapier, a software online which connects different apps and services together in a seamless way, making them work together to create a final product. Today, what we'll be making is an app that takes in the user input and creates both some text and an image. And we'll be able to post this thing online and have a unique web page to which anyone can go to use what we've created. In our case, we'll be creating something that'll create a blog post and a picture to accompany that blog post. But with a little prompt engineering, you'll be able to create something that'll generate whatever you want. Not just blog posts, but it could be poems, it could be articles, future forecasts, whatever you need in your specific work context. And I'll show you how to do so without any previous coding experience required. In fact, by just learning how to go through some motions on Zapier and repeating the steps that I'll be going through on my screen today, you'll be able to create a multimodal app of whatever liking you like, and it'll do whatever type of generative need that arises within your work. All right, so with that, let's get started. So the first thing you want to do is go into Zapier, or actually in local parlance as Zapier, because you're creating Zaps. Zapier.com, that's Zapier.com. And you want to create an account, which you would click sign up. But I'm not going to go through that because I've already created one. The easiest way is to connect it to your existing Google account, which is what I'm going to do here. And then once it's connected, it'll take you to this the home page where it'll offer you a bunch of options. The main service they offer is create zaps, or connections between existing apps that you have in order for them to work together. So for example, email to Google Drive. So any email you would write would automatically be saved in Google Drive. Or Instagram to Facebook. So any Instagram post you create would automatically also become a Facebook post. There's really like thousands and thousands of apps that they offer. They've been around since 2014, and their breadth of how many apps they want to connect is truly amazing. What's even more amazing is recently they've created a service where you can create a front-facing web page, which connects apps in a way that anyone online can utilize. So that's what we want to do. We want to create a web page which will utilize a connection between the user input and a generative model, like in our case, OpenAI. So we're going to go to the left-hand side here, and we're going to go to interfaces. So as you can see, it says dashboard, zaps, transfers, and then we're going to go down to interfaces. And it'll load a special window called Zapier Interfaces. And then interface just means a web page, a public-facing web page that you can create. So we're going to create your first interface. And it wants to ask you if you want to start from scratch. And we actually, to cut some corners, we're not going to start from scratch. We're going to use a template that they have pre-created to some degree. And the template we're going to use is an AI image generator. So we'll do some of the setup for the image generation themselves. And then what we're going to do is add a chat option to it. So it'll be both an image and a chat generator. So you're going to click use this template, and it'll create this template as a ready-to-use interface. And it'll take you to a page that looks like this. It starts by some instructions to you as a developer as how to use this AI image generator and how to set it up so it'll be functional. And what you'll end up with if you follow those instructions is a way to create a web page, which will look like this. This is the address of your future web page. And it'll ask for an image input, say dogs, a style, say retro or futuristic, and some details like hairy dog, Labradoodle. I'm sure that's not how you spell it. I'm not a dog person, so forgive me.
And then you'll click generate image, and it's supposed to generate an image for you. It's not going to work right now because I haven't set up the backend. And I'm not going to, because I don't want a generic image generator. This is kind of like something that you can find on Midjourney, on Stable Diffusion, on a number of providers where you can create something like this. So why recreate something on our own webpage when we could go to an existing webpage to utilize something like this? What we want is create something that's unique to our needs and a generator that responds to our unique context. And that somebody else on our team or maybe in our company might utilize, and for whom we can save a lot of work in creating content. So we're not going to go with this image generator. Instead, what we're going to do is, first of all, give us a unique name so we can manage it easier later. So what you're going to do is go to the top right corner where it says AI image generator. We're going to right click on it, and it's going to give you an option called interface settings. And we're going to click on that, and it'll go to a page where you can give it a unique name. In our case, it'll be the blog post generator. You can leave everything as is, save changes, and then we can go back to the blog post generator by clicking overview. No, thank you. I don't need your instructions. Generator. We're back here, and now it has a unique name, blog post generator. That's really helpful later on, where we're going to be calling upon these different pages and telling them how they're going to work. And what we want to create is a chat option for this image generator. So we're going to go down here where it has a plus at the bottom, and it's going to float up an option called add component. We're going to click on that. We're going to search for something that's called a chatbot, because that's what we're looking for. Chatbot just meaning that like the chatbot by OpenAI, a user types something in, and the natural language processor generates something in return by connecting to our large language model. So we're going to click on that. It'll create us a chatbot that looks like this. It's going to be down below, but we're going to shift it around later. So now we have this chatbot down below, but it's just a generic chatbot. It has no prompt really. It doesn't respond to any unique need. It doesn't know what to do. So once we click on this chatbot, if that side window didn't pop up, you can just go over here and where it says edit, click on that. And then we're going to click manage this chatbot. So now we're going to open the different options we have for this specific chatbot. And we're not going to call it chatbot. We're going to call it blog post generator. Again, it will be important to find it later. Instead of how can I help you today, we're going to ask the user, what kind of blog post can I generate for you today? And here we're going to say blog post, insert blog post topic here. And then the directive is actually just the prompt. This is what will inform the model as to what it's supposed to do with the user input. It doesn't see the greeting text or anything like that. So we're going to need to explain to it what it needs to do with the text. And I actually have something already saved up here. I have a prompt that I've created earlier. It's still very generic. It definitely could be better. I could insert samples. I could give more detailed instructions on what kind of style it wants to use. For now, I'm just using something very generic, just as like a toy model. And what it says is, you're an AI chatbot. You're a helpful assistant. This is kind of like a generic introduction. And then I'm going to instruct it and say, create a blog post on the subject described under the heading blog post title. And then below, in Markdown, I specify blog post title. Markdown just means that there's special symbols which the model can interpret. So hashtag means title. So everything that goes after a hashtag is a title. So here I say under the heading blog post title, so it understands that this is what I mean. Make a blog post long enough to be featured in a LinkedIn post, but not longer. And make the content of a blog post insightful, intriguing, and stimulating. And then I'm going to put a hashtag blog post title. And so whatever the user inputs in here in the Ask Me Anything section, we'll go right here after where it says blog post title. So if a user would complete this prompt by giving it a title, and then the model OpenAI GPT 3.5 in our case will accept this prompt, which the user is not going to see. You're an AI chatbot, create a blog post, and then it will receive it along with whatever the user input in here. So if the user in here in the Ask Me Anything said dogs, the model is going to receive something like this. Or if it's anything longer, if the user says dogs walking in the park, the model is going to receive something like this. So it's a dynamic prompt. So anything that the user inputs on the front end of your website will be inserted into this prompt and sent to the model. So we're done creating this section. Now we're going to want to make this multimodal, so doesn't just return a blog post, but also returns an accompanying image. And the way you would do that in Zapier, sorry, is you want to save what you've done here so far. And now it's saved, so it has a new name and has a new prompt. And now we want to go to actions. So up here it says setup data actions. Go to actions, and you want to add an action, which means add the step where it'll create the image. And the button text is going to say generate an image and save blog post, because the area where it's going to generate the image is also going to float up the blog post that we just created for that the large language model just generated for us. And oh, whoops, it has to be short. And save post. There you go. And we're going to notify that once the button's clicked, the user is going to get some kind of notification. So in our case, generating image, saving post. Again, it has to be pretty short. They're pretty strict about that. So we're going to get a button that says generate an image, save post. When you click on the button, it's going to say generating image, saving post. And what it's going to do, it's like, what is it going to do with that, when you do that? And we're going to do, not copy response, it's going to run a zap. A zap, again, as I said, it's just any way of connecting different services or applications together. And then we're going to create action and zap. It's going to take us to a page where it's going to ask us, well, what do you want me to do when somebody clicks that button? Well, we're not actually going to go through this process from scratch, because we used the template and some of these steps have already been used for us. So we're actually going to close this window. We're going to go back to the front page of our generator. It's usually a tab up front. If it's not, that's okay. If you close that tab, you can always just go back to zapier.com. And in here, you can go back to interfaces. And there's your blog post generator you just created, and you can click on that, and voila, you're back at the main page where you've been working. And voila, there's our chatbot that we've just created. And you want to connect it to the chatbot. So right now it's connected to this table and accepting inputs from the table, but you want to accept inputs from whatever you write over here. So the user doesn't have to rewrite everything that they wrote and request to the blog post into the image generator. That's not necessary. We want the output here to go immediately to the blog post generator and to the image generator at the same time. Then you want to go to the left and click where it says connections. And so this is a zap that this table is currently connected to. You see it has the Z for zap. And it shows you that it's connected to a zap in which what makes this image generator reach out to OpenAI and return you an image. The image is returned on this table. So you see, if I say dogs, it'll return a link to an image down here. But that's not what we want. We want this table to generate an image based on what we insert in the chatbot down here. So what we want to do is, first of all, edit this table. And instead of describe your image and all that stuff, we want to save the link of the image, which will expire. It says it will expire in 2 hours. So whatever image we generate, it'll give us a link. We don't want the details or the style. We want the Google Drive. And we also want for it to save the blog post that we will be creating. So in order to do that, we want to go to View Table. Again, it'll take us to a separate page dedicated just to that table. So let's load that for a second. And voila, this is our table. It says it'll say the image description, the style and the details. We don't need any of that. What we want is a field for the blog post where our blog post is going to be saved. And once we give it a name, we can click create. And so now our table where our image will show will also have a section of where our blog post is going to be saved for future to be recalled later on. So that's all fine. Now we're finished modifying the table. We can exit out of this tab, go back to our main page, and now it has the section blog post showing up on the table. So if we go back to the main one, you see it has a Google Drive where the image is going to be stored, a link to where the image is going to be generated, and the blog post that accompanies that image. So again, to reiterate, what did we just do? We just added the chatbot. So now our software, our web page, sorry, has a chatbot section where a user can input something and get a blog post back. We also created a table where once they input something, there'll be an image generator running in the back. And once the image is generated, it'll offer to download it from a Google Drive. It'll offer a link to that page, and it'll save the blog post of whatever is the chatbot gives back to the user. But we haven't actually connected any of these functionalities in the back. We just created the front end. We just created spaces which will be populated later. So how do we actually connect all this and make this a functional web page? So how do we do that? So what we do is we go to connections, which is like everything that goes on in the backend is listed in connections. And we want to click on this arrow in the corner. And this is our backend. So this is what the template that we've created has a backend as a default. So as default, it says whatever is in this form, image description, style, details, whatever's filled in this form is sent to OpenAI, specifically DALL-E3, which is an image generator in OpenAI. That what is spit out or generated by DALL-E3, which is an image, is then sent to Google Drive to be saved for later, and then showed up on that table, this table right here on the front page. But we don't want, as I said, we don't want this section to be here at all. We want this input from the chatbot to trigger the process of generating an image and saving a Google Drive and what have you. So we're going to change this first step. App event, it says Zapier Interfaces. We're going to change that to chatbot. So it says Zapier chatbots. That's what's going to trigger this chain of events. So when something happens in Zapier chatbots. So we're going to go to Zapier chatbots. What event is going to happen? A chatbot button is clicked. So remember, we created a button that says generate image and save post. So that's the button we want to refer to. So chatbot button, click, continue. So now it wants, okay, what chatbot do you want me to work with? Blog post generator, that's the name we gave that chatbot, if you remember. Which chatbot button do you want me to refer to? Generate an image, save post. Again, if you recall, that's the image we ourselves gave. And whatever name you gave to your button, it'll show up here verbatim. Continue, and it says, okay, so let's test if this actually works. Well, we never actually clicked that button yet, so we need to actually run it in the front end before we can test it back here and see if it works. So let's do that. Let's go to our front end. Let's visit our future website. to load the website. Remember, we have a chatbot at the very bottom for now, and it's like, okay, what kind of blog post can I generate for you today? And I'll say dogs. I can write a blog post about dogs, or a large language model can accept many kind of inputs. I'm just gonna keep it simple and just write dogs for now. Send it out. It's gonna generate me a blog post about dogs. Again, this can be very tweaked to any length you want, and any detail you want, by tweaking with a prompt. And then I'm going to click the button to create a test of the interaction. So I'm going to click a button, generate an image, save post. And as promised, is said generating image, saving post, which is what I specified that I wanted it to show up when I click that button. But nothing's happening yet because this is just a test run for now. So now that I've clicked that button, and now when I click test trigger, see, it says no chatbot clicked, no chatbot button click found. I'm going to try again, and it's going to show up. It's going to find that chatbot button click that I just created. So I click this button, and now in the backend, it sees that somebody has clicked the button, and it created a blog post. So now that I've tested that the button click is working, I can move forward and tell it what to do when that button is clicked. So I'll say continue selected record. Now for the OpenAI part. What will likely happen is you will see OpenAI here, generate an image of DALL-E 3. So this is what we want to do when somebody clicks the button, generate an image. It'll ask you to connect your account, which is not the way an account is usually connected. So when you want to connect an account, what you want to do is, this will not say anything. I have created an account before, so that's why I have this option. You're not going to have this option. You're going to have to click connect a new account. And in a previous lesson, we discussed how models offer their services to outside providers through something called an API key, a unique key which lets the model connect to your particular account and provide a service on your behalf. So where would you get this API key? So for OpenAI, what you would do is you go to platform.openai.com, and you would want to hover all the way to the left here, and among the different options, you want to click API keys. If you've just started, you'll want to create an account for platform.openai.com. You'd want to connect your card, your credit card or debit card to the account in the settings, I believe. Yes, and you'd want to go to billing and connect your card because it charges for every time you use OpenAI. So before you you create an API key, make sure to connect your card. It doesn't charge you any stable fee. It charges you only when you utilize an API key. And only then it only charges you a couple cents per use. So this is really not going to burn a hole in your pocket for this test run. But again, this is going to be a public website. So if a bunch of people are going to start visiting your website and using your app, this is going to really run up a bill. So be careful and how you share your future website. And so once you're here, you want to create a new secret key, and we'll give it a name. So Zapier blog post API key. Create the secret key. Wait a second while it thinks. Okay, and this is your API key. It'll only show it to you once. So if you click done without clicking copy button, you're gonna have to create a new key. What you want to do here is click on this green button on the side here, and then it'll copy it into your clipboard. You never want to show anyone this API key. And even right after I'm done here, I'm going to delete it to make sure that once this video is made public, like nobody can go ahead and copy all these characters and use it on my behalf. So we're going to copy this API key. And here, we're going to go back to this page, and where it says API key, we're going to paste it in here. And that will allow Zapier to reach out to our OpenAI account and use our OpenAI image generator on our behalf. And so once we do that, he says, yes, continue to OpenAI. And voila, now our OpenAI is connected to our Zapier, and anything that's going on that web page will have a way to interact with the OpenAI model and get something in return. So then we can continue. It says a prompt here for the image generator. We want to delete all that. We will give it a different prompt, say create a futuristic image. The prompt can be as long as you want or as specific as you want. You can refer to specific artists or to specific type of art styles. I'm not an artist, so I don't have any those details. I'll probably would have researched something if I wanted to go in more detail. But for now, again, this is just a toy example. So I'll just say create a futuristic image featuring, and what would it feature? It'll feature whatever was input into the chatbot, which is dogs in our case. And so here we want to see it has these options down below, and it says value prompts. So that value prompts is whatever the user inputs into the chatbot. And in our case, it's dogs. So here it's clicking dogs. And so now this is a dynamic input. So whatever the user inputs, if they put in cats, it'll not say dogs, it'll say cats. If they say rockets, it'll say rockets. And if we give a longer prompt, then this prompt will fill in with whatever longer prompt they put in to the chatbot. You can specify quality, the size of the image, the style. Again, many different options here. We're going to breeze through them because I'm not an artist, so I don't know how to generate good imagery. Perhaps you do. Once you specified all these points, you go continue. And again, you test the steps, see if it will generate an image in response to our dog's input the way we instructed it to. It's using dogs only for this one case sample. Once you launch this app, it'll generate an image to whatever the user input on the front page right here. Okay, so it looks like it generated an image. It's a very long link, and we can certainly visit it to see if it actually worked. So what I just did here is I just copied this giant link by double clicking it, did right click copy, and then posted it into my browser as the address. And there you go. It's a futuristic image of dogs. And for my blog post, I can now add this image as to accompany it. And so now we want to save this image to our Google Drive, and then save the link onto our table. The Google Drive part is really not required. You can always just refer back to the link. But there is this temporary glitch that Zapier has where this table does not save the entire link because it's too big, it crops it. So you don't really get a functional access to the image on the front end unless you add the Google Drive part. So for now, it's kind of mandatory to do the Google Drive section. Hopefully later on, this will not be so. And you can just float the image, or at least the link to the image directly onto the table. So again, if you haven't connected a Google Drive account here, it'll prompt you to do so. And once you created once you connected your Google Drive account to Zapier, this is just simple login. As you can see, if I connect a new account, it'll just reach out to Google and be like, which account do you want to connect? I've already went through all that. You just need to go through this once and you'll be right there where I am right now. Once you connected your Google Drive account, you'll click continue. It'll ask me which Google Drive account you want to use. I have only one, it's my Google Drive. By default, that's the name that your Google Drive account has also. It'll ask me what folder I want to save it in. And I've already created a folder called Zapier Images in my main Google Drive, so that's why it's up here. Of course, you can create a folder in your subfolders and save it there. But I'm going to just choose Zapier Images. One point is you in your Google Drive, you must be sure that folder is public. So once you create an image, a folder where your images live, you got to be sure to right click, go to share, click share, and see it says restricted, so only I can see what's in that folder. You want to say anyone with a link can see what's in that folder. So that way Zapier can see what's in that folder and float up those images onto the table. So once you did that, you select the Zapier images folder that you've just created and shared publicly. You'd want to save the image that was created in OpenAI, so that's what you want to specify here. And the file name, to make it easy, I'm going to give the file name whatever the name was input into the prompt. So if the user used input dogs, I'm going to save the image as dogs.png or PDF or whatever. So whatever the user input is going to go into the file name. Continue. I'm going to test the step. And hopefully is going to, yes, it confirmed that it did truly save this image in my Google Drive. I'm going to click continue. And now it's going to do, okay, so how do you want me to show this on the table that's on the front page? And so you don't need to change anything here. This is Zapier Tables. Instead of update record, you want to say create record. So every time a user inputs something into the chatbot, it'll create a new record on that table. And action. So again, you'd want to be sure to give your table a unique name, because as you can see, if it has a template name, that might create problems. So again, we want to go to our main Zapier page, zapier.com. Zapier is just too compelling of a name. I can't get rid of that habit. And you'd want to go to tables. And your most recent table will be up top. And you want to say edit tables and give it a unique name, such as blog post generator. So now it has a unique name. And as you can see here, it changes automatically over here. And now it'll be way easier over and over here. We would probably want to refresh the page, so it will pull that data anew. But now if we go over here, we'll have a blog post generator name, a unique name that we can refer to and not get mixed up if we ever make a new table. So describe your image. The image description will be whatever the user put in the prompt. Style and details, we hit all those elements, and the blog post will be whatever the chatbot output in response to the user. And that option is chatbot response right here up top. So you can click on that, and as you can see now, whatever the output of that blog post was, it will be populated right here. A side point, I forgot to add the URL, so that's why it didn't show me the URL to the image. So what you want to do here is where it says describe your image, you'd want to float up the URL where it says image expires in 2 hours. The URL to the image that was just generated, and what you want to click on that and go down to image URL, and click on Google Drive file, and then give that the URL to the Google Drive file.
And you'd want to click from all the options available, the option embed link, which there's, again, many different options. There it is, embed link. So it has alternative link, download URL, and then embed link, and that's the one you want to click. So in the end, it'll look like this. If you don't want to look through all that, you can always just search here, embed link, and there it is. So you can always type that into the bar, and it'll find that option for you automatically.
You're going to click continue and publish. It might ask you for version name, but really doesn't matter what name you give there. And voila, now we're done. So now if you go over here, we can now delete all this stuff that we don't need. You delete by going to this edit button, delete component. As such, so now we can delete all that. We can give it a unique title. It's no longer an AI image generator. It is a blog post and image generator. We don't need this table anymore because it doesn't refer to anything. We can delete this table. And we'll probably want to grab this chatbot and put it up top. So what we do is we click and hold our button. Now we can move it up and down. We scroll up and shove it up here. So now it's blog post and then the table showing the output. All right, so let's see what this is going to look like on the front end. So we can click on the URL of our future website, or actually our already existing website. This URL is not public, so anyone who goes over here will see what you see here. And let's type in rockets for a difference. So it'll generate a blog post about rockets. And then it'll offer us a button once it's done. Oh, it offered us 255 character summary at the end. That's nice. So it has a button that says generate an image, save post. So once we click that, it'll show us a notification that we need to do that as promised. And then down here, we should see a blog post about rockets. Starting exploring the uncharted skies. In just a second here. It does take a while because it has to reach out to DALL-E 3, get that content back, and then populate this area in the end. And voila, so I had to refresh the page for it to float up. I think if I waited a little more, it would have floated up by itself. It has the first 255 characters of the blog post, but this is the gist of how you create a multimodal post. So you the world's your oyster in terms of what is possible here. You can always create a different prompt. You can create a different style of images. You can create multiple streamlines of images or blog posts, and save them onto the table. And you can connect with all kinds of apps. So you can automatically send this to Facebook or your email. And really kind of integrate this in all kinds of ways. And the great part is it's a real existing website. So you can always show this to a friend or your coworkers and offer them as a useful tool. Thank you for watching. I hope this has been helpful. I'll definitely be going back and trying to troubleshoot some of the errors and make this more streamlined. But I did want to convey the general pattern of how you'd want and just how achievable it is without ever touching a line of code. All right, thank you all, and you have a great one.